All right, everyone. Welcome. This is very exciting. My name is Shel Sanchez. I'm the Director of Arts and Culture for the City of Albuquerque for 9 more days. No, woo! Come on, people. No, I am really excited to be here today for so many reasons. Some of you know I have a very long history with this building and a very long history with 516 Arts. And that makes this today extra special. So the city bought this building about 20 years ago or so, I don't know exactly, but what I do know is that I walked through it right after the city bought it. And for those of you who know the history of the building, it was very spicy when I came through. Right after the city had bought it, I was part of a community committee to design a youth arts program and find a space. And the city bought this space with that intention, and it fulfilled that purpose for a very long time. It was a very dynamic youth space. There was art, there was sport, there were a lot of good things going on. One thing the city didn't have for many years was a really significant investment. And that you can see today that the city, in partnership with 516 Arts, has really transformed the space. And that's why it's so important for me today to be here. We've been talking to 516 for several years and working with them and Outpost originally on creating a new art space, enlarging what they're doing, their impact, but also enlarging the city's impact. And so I'm so happy that everyone is here with us today to celebrate that. I've been very passionate about this project for 8 years, and the person that knows that probably best is standing behind me. I'm going to introduce him in just a second. I've brought this project forward over and over again to the point where he had no choice to say yes or no. But I will say Mayor always says yes to arts and always yes to more art. So I want to introduce to you Mayor Tim Keller.
Well, this project is really the culmination of so much, and I think I want to start with some, quick history, just in a sense. I don't know why I've been thinking about history today. I think it's because I got the book on the history of street signs, by the way, if you haven't seen this. It's a great read if you're into the city. Otherwise, you might want to skip it. But anyway, point is, really, so of course, originally the, ice house, like for literal ice, is I learned from the architects, hence the blue building. This is an homage to the original purpose, this sort of cool room, blue glacier ice. But when we fast forward to the 90s, actually, when I was in high school is when all this happened. There were raves, and that was like the thing for teens. And they were getting really dangerous, and there were all sorts of violent teenage parties that were happening in rented out warehouse space all over the city. And at that time, the city leaders said, part of the answer is we should buy one of those and make it like a safe space for teens to hang out that's not like a rave. And so that was the birth of Warehouse 508, which was here for quite some time. And that, I think actually in its era was pretty cool and forward-looking. And it also began to help set the stage to transform this particular area of downtown. And so now as we fast forward a little bit, we see a new generation, a new vision for this area of downtown. And it's a vision that in some ways harkens back to the original thesis of this area, but also in a way that's very forward-looking and very culturally reflective. And so now this is the heart of the Arts District. And what we have is a couple of theaters down the street. We have now this amazing art space that we're opening today. And of course, on the other side of the railroad tracks, we have this amazing amalgamation of Villa Miriam with a great coffee shop, and then we have Cantina, which at some point will open again, and all sorts of development right on the other side. And this is a reflection, frankly, of a decade of hard work in this area to transform it. And so it was things like the at-grade rail crossing. This was a huge victory to make this area more activated and walkable. Then it was, of course, what's happening with Glorieta Station across the other side. The Wool Warehouse, where I went to prom, is owned by the same folks, the Garcia family, who own it on the other side. And then, of course, we have this piece. And this piece was long identified, at least for the last decade, as something that we have to activate in a positive way for the community for really this whole thing to kind of work. And so that is also what we celebrate today. It's not just the opening of a building. It's not just the completion of a renovation. It is actually sort of the cornerstone of a new vision for a new generation of an arts district right here in downtown Albuquerque. One that is continuing to sort of grow and exists already, but now is going to be rapidly enhanced by this amazing facility. And of course, the tenants that are going to occupy it, 516 Arts. Also a at least 10-year journey for us together, trying to find a home that was, number one, bigger, but also in an area that might be additive to sort of placemaking. And 516 also has its own long history with the city, but now again, this is a new chapter, a next generation of the city and 516 Arts partnering. And so this space is awesome. And the last thing I will really share about this, right, is at some point, it depends on federal funding, but this is, of course, going to be one of the coolest areas of the rail trail. So as everyone is here, we understand First Street, we understand the Arts District, what's behind you, but it's what's behind us, and even those windows that point to it. That is going to be one of the seminal, most first activated parts of the rail trail in terms of restaurants, art galleries, etc. And now this is set up to do that on both sides of the railroad tracks. And so we're very excited about that slice of the rail trail. It's a ways down the road, but all of this works together because of it's part of a vision that we've had for an arts district and the rail trail going right through it. So I think with that, I'll just wrap it up and say that, you know, originally this was going to be in the sawmill. I mean, there was like all sorts of different variations. Today, it really is the end of that exploratory phase in a sense of setting this district up and 516 Arts for decades to come. But it is a credit to the woman who would never let go of this project. So I will tell you, whether it was different politicians in general tried to kill this over and over again. I, at one point, may not have been in favor of this as well. But Shell would never let it go because she saw how it all fit together and also saw that 516 could deliver on their end of this public-private partnership. And so I really want to thank Shell Sanchez. This would have never happened without her. So Shell, thank you so much.
Yeah, he did say yes. I couldn't do it without him, no matter what he says. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have tried, but I could not do it without him. All right, let's move on to, again, this is a public-private partnership, and I want to remind people, like, the city's been doing public-private partnership in the arts space for a long time. Explora is one of our best examples of that, and this is built on that model where the city owns the space. A nonprofit operates it in, you know, an agreement with the city, and the city helps with some very foundational funding year over year to make sure it thrives. But the intent is that this is a public space. And so 516 Arts came to the table after lots of lobbying and lots of advocacy in Santa Fe with almost $6 million that we had in public funds that they had advocated for that we could use to renovate this building. So this partnership has been in the making for many, many years, and this is the very first kind of physical step that we can share with the community. So I'm going to bring up their executive director, April Chalet.
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here to celebrate with us. My name is April Chalet. I am the executive director at 516 Arts. 20 years ago this year, 516 Arts opened its doors on Central Avenue with a simple but bold idea that contemporary art belongs at the center of community life. It can spark dialogue, shift perceptions, bring people together, and this today marks when we get to turn to a new page. This building is more than just a space. It's a statement of belief. It's a belief in the artists that we serve, the audiences that we are able to reach in downtown Albuquerque, and in what this city can be. Through the expansion, we are going to continue to highlight the exceptional contemporary art that we do on our central location. Moving over here, we also get to expand into showcasing more local artists through our open frame gallery, through helping with art making with our 8 new artist studios that are in this space. We get to deepen our collaborations with creative nonprofit partners and otherwise that help make our work vibrant and help us do what we do well. And what it will really do is help us create a more welcoming, inviting arts location for not just Albuquerque, but all of New Mexico, anchoring Albuquerque as the creative space that we in this room all know that it is. We get to help showcase that to a much broader audience. So more than just a building, this is an investment in Albuquerque's creative future, and we are very proud to be a part of this next step. We hope you all join us. I know it's a while away. In November 14th, we will be doing our public grand opening with events peppered in between now and then. But at that time, you will be able to come in and see the studios filled with art and artists, the galleries that we will build, art on the walls, community being present, and in November, we really get to show you what this building has to offer and what our community would like to show the public. So this vision came to life through this transformative partnership between 516 Arts and the City of Albuquerque, which would not have been made possible without Mayor Tim Keller. Dr. Shel Sanchez absolutely was a champion of this project, Diego Lucero, and the support of our counselor, Joaquin Baca. Because of this long-term investment and support of these projects, we're able to do what hopefully you can all envision with me what we're going to do in this space. I would also like to thank those who came before me as a new executive director, our founder, Suzanne Sparge, who helped kick off all of this big visioning and made 516 Arts what it is today so that we can build on that work. Tom Graunik at Outpost. Without those two, this project would be in a very different place than it is now. Our longtime supporter and champion, Ray Graham, and also the McCune Charitable Foundation. All of these pieces and partners have made this possible. So to our city, our donors, our board, our partners, our neighbors, our community, you made this possible, and this is for you. It's not just for us. So as we carry forward everything that has defined 516 Arts, inquiry, diversity, collaboration, and accessibility, now we get to do that in a building that's worthy of that kind of vision. So thank you very much.
I'm just going to continue on with the thank yous. And also just say that the thank yous, sometimes they feel obligatory, but for me, when we stop and we say thank you, it always acknowledges how many people have to say yes, how many people have to show up, how many people have to do their work for these kinds of projects to happen. And it is a lot of people. Like one person can want it to happen a lot, but there's got to be, in this case, hundreds of people that say yes and dozens of leaders. So I'm just going to thank a few of them right now. So, of course, Mayor Keller and his leadership team. Councilor Baca is here with us today from this district. He also helped us get the funding secured in the budget for the next fiscal year for 516 Arts. And then I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start back here. We have DMD, Jennifer Turner, Department Director, and Javier Cerna, Project Manager for this project from DMD. DMD works with all of our departments to build the things. We like to act like we build them by ourselves, and we definitely always want to design them by ourselves, but really, this department really is how the city gets built, maintained, and connected. For our department, Diego Lucero, who never stands up front with me, Diego Lucero right there, he's the deputy, one of our 2 deputy directors for arts and culture, and this was his first capital project that he had a leadership role in, and he really stepped in, and this was not an easy project, which takes me to formative architecture and wild construction. Mayor reminded us that this was a 100-year-old building that started as a warehouse, and then it housed raves, and then I think some young person said, there used to be a skateboarding half pipe in there. There was a lot of history in this building, not a blank slate. So blank slates are challenging for architects. I think they might be twice as challenging for the builders, because you do not know what you do not know when you start. And so we had, this team did a beautiful job, but they also really focused on our realities of what we could afford and what we had to deliver. So let's stop there for a round of applause for those 2 teams. I think we've got some leadership from both of those places here, so thank you. 516 Arts, I think it's amazing to partner with the City of Albuquerque. Not everybody wants to partner with government. I mean, I don't understand that, but I think government is an amazing and impactful partner, but it's also a really different kind of partner. And 516 Arts leadership and board, you've been amazing in these conversations as we've figured out how we're going to do this together. So I know that some of the board members are here, so thank you so much. We also have some staff here from Economic Development and the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency, and they're here because they also believe that this kind of development and renewal is critical both to economic development in our community and also metropolitan redevelopment and our overall vitality. So thank you for making the time to be here, because they are also investing a lot in this kind of work, so I appreciate your presence here. That's everyone on my list. I know there's almost everyone in this room has something to do with this project moving forward, which is why you're here. So maybe just look around and everybody give everyone applause. Because that's why we're all, yeah, good job. Nice done. All right, so this building is officially done. And over the next 6 months, you will see the activity grow and the vitality grow. And then I hope to see all of you here again in November when we celebrate not the completion, but the true beginning. Thank you so much.